were there things that you learned from your childhood, like being with these elements, these nature elements, and perhaps an imaginary friend, and how did you learn to listen to your intuition?
My dad would pick up stones and say, "What do you hear? Do you hear low tones? Do you hear high tones?" So he taught me how to connect with the divine masculine and the divine feminine in rocks. So, yeah, and so then that's what helped me be in tune. And then he took me to my first Body, Mind, and Spirit Expo when I was like 10 years old and bought me a crystal and did my whole aura thing. And
For people that don't have that experience, I'm just wanting to back it up a little bit and allow you to speak to how the stones or rocks, the ocean, the trees, how do they speak to you now?
ooh, of course, it's different now compared to when I was a child, because so much has opened, especially after my mom passed, and she's on the other side. So I still hear low tones and high tones, and the water speaks to me and comforts me, especially when I'm missing my mom so much. And I also had a 6-year-old dog that passed from stomach cancer unexpectedly, and who used to come with us to the beach, and I feel him, and my grandmothers, the ancestors, and like the sun and the moon, and I watch the clouds and the formation. Like sometime a lot, they'll be in the form of a heart. I get directed sometimes to go in the water and sit to submerge myself in the water, and it feels like a hug.
Welcome back to the Healing You Method podcast. I'm Gail Donahue, here with my dear friend and co-host Gloria Liebecker.
Yes, we're so grateful that you're here with us today for another warm, embodied, and soul-centered conversation.
On this podcast today, we explore healing through presence, relationship, nervous system awareness, embodiment, and the deeper wisdom that lives within each of us.
And today's conversation, it's such a beautiful invitation into sacred presence, inner light, nature, love, and the remembering of who we truly are beneath all the noise, the grief, the pressure, and the patterns that we may have carried for so long.
Our guest today is Tiare Lum, a native Hawaiian healer who was born in Encinitas, California, grew up on the island of Oahu, and now lives in Kona on the big island of Hawaii.
I want to go visit you. Yeah, Tiara has been deeply intuitive since childhood and has always felt a profound connection with the ocean, the land, and the spirit of the Hawaiian Islands. She's been a licensed massage therapist for the past 10 years, specializing in lomi lomi, an ancient Hawaiian healing technique that she learned on the island of Maui.
And Tiara is also certified in sound therapy and vibrational healing, working with crystal bowls and hand drums and tuning forks. She also works with the Akashic records in intuitive one-on-one sessions online and in person. She also hosts retreats and workshops on the island of Hawaii. Well, Gloria,
I know,
that's
it's
our
like,
cue there.
So through her work, she supports others in reconnecting with their inner light, their embodied wisdom, and their own capacity to heal. Her massage is gentle and powerful. You do not have to force healing, and you are not behind. So, through presence, nature, meditation, breath, sound, touch, and love, healing becomes less about striving and more about returning.
Hmm. So Tiara, we are so delighted to welcome you to the Healing You Method podcast.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored, and I love what I do, and I love meeting other people and networking with other women who have gone through so much up until this point in their lives, especially this past year, especially the past 3 years. And I just celebrated 35 years out of being from high school and we had our class reunion. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like you get together and it's almost like time never stops because we're still the same, yet so much we've all gone through so much, whether losing a spouse or parents or pets or siblings. We've all gone through so much. And I love the work that I do because not only do I get to meet the most amazing people, but it helps me with my healing as
Mm,
well. And I lost my mother 3 years ago, almost June 30th, and
mm,
completely changed my life. And
mm,
it's
mm,
like, okay, my mom's passing me the torch of the matriarchy, even though I don't have children. I have a big family of cousins and friends who all have children and even grandchildren. Now that I'm up here getting to the top of the matriarchy of our family, it's a lot of responsibility. But we
mm.
we breathe through it. And my work has been leading up to this up until
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Well, before we dive into the deeper pieces of your work, I'd love to begin with you, your
Okay.
name, your lineage that you referred to, and the land that you're connected to. And I'm probably going to butcher the names of these islands, but you grew up on
Oahu?
Oahu. See, that's
Yeah.
like it doesn't it, and you now live in Conan, right? On the
On the
Big
Big
Island.
Island. Yes, correct.
So just slow down and rewind time a little bit and share a bit about who you are and how the land and the ocean of Hawaii have helped shape your healing path.
Even though I was born in Encino, California, because my dad was an avionics technician and in the Air Force, so I traveled a lot as a child. I was always coming back to Oahu for to spend summers with my grandmother,
Oh,
and I was by myself a lot. So she had a huge yard, lived right across the beach, and that's where I would spend my time, is with the trees, with the mango trees, with the ducks, with the dogs in the ocean. And they'd have to drag me out of the water because I always wanted to stay in the water all day, every day. And it was just natural to me to connect. And after my grandparents passed and I left high school, I went away to Arizona and I lived in northern Michigan and Henderson, Nevada, and something called me back home again.
mm,
So this is when I dived into Lomi Lomi. And I just wanted to be hands on with healing and with touch. My sister's also a massage therapist. So as a child, I would massage my aunties and uncles. I
mm.
prefer to be with the adults versus out playing with my cousins. I just rather be with the adults and learn from the elders. So I've always been that way, a sort of a sponge. Yeah.
Mm, mm. So, you said how you loved being out in the waters, in the ocean.
Yes.
How, I don't know, kind of immerse us in that a little bit. How has the ocean been a teacher or a companion for you?
I remember being a very young child and I saw the biggest sand crab crawl across and I went to reach out. I ran after it and grabbed it and it pinched me and I yelled out this huge yell and my grandfather says, no, 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 this is how you pick it up from the back. So it
Ah,
can't pinch you. I picked it up from the front. So of course he's like, and then after I stopped crying, I was like 5 years old. And then I'm like, then I was just fascinated, and with, getting stung by Portuguese man of war, but just, and then seeing dolphins and sharks and turtles and just, just imagined myself as a mermaid and just, I always had that inkling of the natural feeling of being in the
mm,
water.
beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, as a
Yeah.
fellow ocean lover and knowing about crabs, I can relate to that that story. Yeah, that's lovely. And can you name the business that you have, your name of your business? Because I don't want to say it wrong.
It's called Moilehua Holistic Healing, and it's
Moilehu.
actually the name of a wind. And there's a Hawaiian book of names of wind names, rain names, wind and rain names. And for some reason, when I saw that name, it just popped out, and I kept hearing it, and it was like around me,
Mm,
around me. So I picked that name. It's also a name of a warrior. Lehua is a red ohia blossom that grows on the volcano. And it's also a term for a warrior because it's a red flower. And it's just a
Mm,
very strong, steadfast, beautiful flower. Yes.
Oh, that's so
mm,
beautiful. The Hawaiian language is just so musical. It's just so
mm.
beautiful.
Yes,
So
it is.
thank you. And was there a moment, you mentioned that you were in Arizona and then in other places, but then you decided that you were called back. Is there a little bit more to that story when you were called to be on this path?
Let's see. University of Arizona. I didn't stay for long because the desert, there was no ocean. And so I came back home, went up all the way across to northern Michigan. My best friend married a man from there, and I stayed with them and ended up staying for 9 years and to
Mm.
experience all of the seasons. Us in Hawaii, even though we're lucky, we don't get the fall. We don't get this, well, we get snow on Mauna Kea, but you don't get to experience all the different seasons. So I wanted to experience that. However, after so long, it's like, okay, I had enough. Moved to Nevada where my mom bought a house. And then I came back for my 20th high school reunion. And after that, it was like, that's what called me back home. I'm like, you know what? I've been gone for 13 years. I need to come home. So that's what
Mm,
happened.
ah. And you mentioned that you've been extremely intuitive since childhood. And you talked about childhood memories of connecting and speaking with the elements of down at that ocean. And so I was wondering, uh, were there things that you learned from your childhood, like being with these elements, these nature elements, and perhaps an imaginary friend? And how did you learn to listen to your intuition?
Yeah, I always did have imaginary friends. I was speaking light language at a very young age. Those old recorders where you press record and play, and you
Mm.
you record yourself just singing and speaking or whatever, and just and play it back. And then so I was already very in tune with that part. And then my dad would um pick up stones and say, "What do you hear?" Do you hear
Mm.
low tones? Do you hear high tones? So he taught me how to connect with the divine masculine and the divine feminine in rocks.
Mm.
So, yeah, and so then that's what helped me be in tune. And then he took me to my first Body, Mind, and Spirit Expo when I was like 10 years old and bought me a crystal and did my whole aura thing. And taught me how to meditate and align my chakras. And so that's my dad. Yes. And then from then on, once you start getting into that, and of course, as a teenager, it's like, oh, other things come along. But I always had that ability because my dad taught me how, and my connection to rocks and trees and flowers. Because after my grandmother's passed, I could still smell their favorite flowers, so I knew they were
Mm.
close to me. I knew they were around me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm touched by um, how much nature really has a way of holding us, right? Um,
Yes.
how does for people that don't have that experience, I'm just wanting to back it up a little bit and allow you to speak to how the stones or rocks, the ocean, the trees, how do they speak to you now?
I'm always going to take my dogs along the coast of the ocean, obviously when it's not raining, but ooh, of course it's different now compared to when I was a child. Because so much has opened, especially after my mom passed and she's on the other side. So I still hear low tones and high tones, and the water speaks to me and comforts me,
Mm.
especially when I'm missing my mom so much. And I also had a 6-year-old dog that passed from stomach cancer unexpectedly, and who used to come with us to the beach, and I feel him, and I just my grandmothers, the ancestors, and like the sun and the moon, and I watch the clouds and the formation, like sometime a lot, they'll be in the form of a heart,
Oh.
or in the form of my dogs who have passed, or in the form of angels, or
Mm.
like a face that looks like my grandfather. So I just see and feel things. And then I get directed sometimes to go in the water and sit to submerge myself in the water. And it feels like a hug.
Mm.
Yeah, so I just using my intuition, my third eye, when it's high tide, there's this blowhole that really spouts and shoots out, and then the rain, you can see a rainbow in it. So all those little things, sometimes behind me in the mountains, there'll be a huge rainbow. It happens a lot where a
Mhm.
huge rainbow will come out, or it'll be cloudy, and then the sun will just come out and just shine on my face. So things like
Mm.
that, it really
Oh.
speaks to me. And the wind, like if when the wind's towards my face, usually it's rarely against me, it's usually towards me. So it's like
Mm.
another hug, you know. I just
Beautiful.
noticing all the little different things. And of course the black crabs crawling around. I'm not so afraid of them now, but you know, they're reminding me, yeah, we're still here, we're still here. You
Yeah.
know, so and noticing all the little hermit crabs in the tide pools. So just all the little things, you know, connecting with that
Mhm.
inner child too. So it's all still there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love how just by listening to you, it can help people recognize how they might begin to connect with nature, even if they live in a city, because the wind is still there, the rainbows, the things when you pay attention, because that's
Yeah.
what it sounds like you really learn to pay attention. Maybe you could speak to what does Mother Earth offer us when we slow down enough to listen?
Well, I live on an island with an active volcano, so Mother Earth speaks a lot. She has erupted 48 times since last year. So,
Wow.
and something called me here to Big Island, and she wasn't erupting when I moved here almost 3 years ago,
Mm,
and it's just been really powerful. We've had earthquakes, you know, nothing major, but you know, shaking things up and feeling the shift of what the earth is going through, you know, with everything else, with solar flares, with planetary alignment, with what's going on in politics and other countries. And I feel the earth is all responding to what's going on, to their frequency of the people. And
mhm,
so things like that, the volcanoes erupting, when there's high tides, just a week and a half ago, the water was crashing over the coast into the restaurants.
oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so it's just things like that, but the power and how things can change like that, right? And then it'll be
Mhm,
calm. And
mhm,
you know, the emotions. People feel more emotional around times like that when the tides are high or when the volcanoes erupting and really being in tune in that with that, yet using that energy to ground as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the phrases that you that really stood out to us was that you said your body is emitting light right now. Broadcast your unique frequency and become the beacon to reach your highest potential. And that feels like such a powerful statement. So could you just speak to the meaning of that for you?
For me personally, no matter what I've gone through, and I get this from my mother, she was through so much too, and she always was a go-getter. She always had a smile on her face.
Mm.
Because I'm her daughter, I knew when
Oh.
something's wrong, but she would never she would put everyone else first before her, you know?
Mm.
Now in my generation, I'm teaching others to give back, right?
Mm.
Because we're programmed from our ancestors to
Mhm.
give, put others first, right? But
Mhm.
now we receive what we give. And when we love so hard, um, and we like bathe ourselves in our own essence, that's it makes us expand even more. And this is
Mhm.
what I teach others in my sessions, whether it be physical or on Zoom.
Mm.
It's that constant circle of not love, not just giving, giving, giving. So and just
Mm.
expanding and radiating your light with your ohana, with my ohana, my community, and my clients.
Yeah, so you're teaching reciprocation,
Yes.
a reciprocal way of being. And so how can someone begin to actually sense their own light if they've been having an experience of feeling rather disconnected or dimmed or heavy?
How to what brings you joy,
Mm.
what makes you so happy. And a lot of times it's going out in nature, going into the forest,
Mm.
writing, drawing, painting. Some people have the lost art of putting things away and they stopped writing. I think the number one thing, they stopped connecting to themselves.
Mm.
Mm,
So what I do is reconnect with yourself, whether it's writing, talking, affirmations, it's connecting to yourself with yourself by yourself, even if it's just a few minutes a day.
mm,
And then once you make that a habit and do it more and more and more, and then you fill that void of what's missing, because nothing's really missing. We're already whole and complete as we are. Anything else is an extra a bonus, right? It's extra,
Mhm.
and reminding people of that.
Mm.
yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I'm really drawn to this idea that you have of us being a light and kind of like becoming a beacon, so to speak. And that really speaks to something that Gloria and I explore a lot here, that healing's not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering the truth of who we are. And so I'm curious, how do you help people return to that inner light in and know it inside of themselves, so, that inner essence or that divinity within themselves?
breath work Breath work, sound healing. With my sessions, I put us in a big bowl of light sanctuary, an orb where everything outside, we leave it out. And this protective container, and I teach people how to do this on a daily basis, right? So they're not soaking up everything that's going on in their household, with their kids, with their mothers, fathers, whatever. And I teach people how to create their sanctuary and to connect with themselves, most importantly through breath work, through alignment. I draw a picture mentally of the colors of the chakras and the roots of Mother Nature wrapping around our ankles and our feet and connecting down to the heart and the womb
Mm,
of Mother Earth, of the Aina here, or Mother Earth. And then
mm,
through toning, I use my voice, and through breath work, through breathing. So we really dive deep into these sessions. And how are you feeling in your heart space is a very important question for me.
mm,
Is it relaxed and comfortable? Is it filled with love? Is it tight and closed? So opening the heart, expanding the
mm,
heart, because a lot of times people have it closed. And physically, when I work on people, 90% of the time, the left side is tighter than the right side because of everything in the left shoulder blade behind the heart.
oh,
And even the left arm, the feminine side is the left side. Nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, right? Divine masculine is the right side, always doing, 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 going. So people don't take care of themselves enough, often enough. There's that off balance. So it's
mm.
finding that balance, that harmony through meditation and or breath work.
Oh yeah, that's so interesting, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense that it's connected to that left side, the feminine side, and the heart. And do you have you seen and noticed that there's some s- similar things that people go through when they start to notice when they begin to become more at home and come more to their home and themselves?
Are there similar things you mean with me?
No, well, that when you work with clients and
Mm-hmm.
you're supporting them, are there some things that you notice that's sort of a pattern, or that's something that you see that, oh, it's starting to open, that listeners could maybe go think for themselves, oh, is this happening for me? Like, is there
Fear.
anything?
Fear is many people's biggest block. They're afraid of the
Mm,
unknown. They're afraid of letting go what they've been holding on to for so long. They're afraid of what's to come. They're afraid whatever blockages, challenges, fear of leaving a relationship that no longer serves, fear of moving somewhere that's calling them, but that means leaving everybody behind. So it's that fear of a new job, starting a new job, excitement, yet fear. So, it'll stop us sometimes, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it's getting over that and envisioning the outcome, right? Manifesting, right? how do you visualize yourself in 5 years, in 2 years? What are you wearing? Where are you living? To picture the house that you're living in. Are you living near the ocean, near a creek, on the mountain? Do you have trees? Do you have a garden? Do you have a sanctuary? Are you in the city? So picturing exactly what you want to come. And then once you see, your dreams, there's no dream that's too big. It's like I create a an etheric visual board. And once you see what's coming, you're like, oh, then you relax. And that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what I want, and I want to get there, and getting over that hump that
Yeah.
all of us experience. Yes.
Right.
Mm.
Well, that segues into a question that I was interested in, yeah, because you've written about it as well, is that you do not have to force healing. So you just said that it just starts to come naturally.
Yes.
And also your message of you're not behind. And I think so many people need to hear that. So you talked about fear being a key block there. And could you speak a little bit more about this concept and this misunderstanding? Because I've seen it often, and I'm sure Gloria has too, with our clients where they want to get healed, and so they just I want this to happen faster, and there's a sense that healing has to be pushed or rushed or achieved.
Everything happens in divine timing. Um, I tell people to write it several times if you have to, and patience. Even for me, it's been, not easy. Patience has not always been one of my virtues. I've had to learn that. Um, being patient, trusting. That's a
Mm,
big one too. Trusting the process, trusting yourself is huge. Giving yourself permission to allow yourself to receive and to be patient with that. Be patient and kind to yourself, right? And all things will happen in divine timing, even though we want it to happen now, right? It's like, I want to win the lottery now. It's like, I want a new car now. I want a new house now. It's like, work towards it. It's all steps, and it'll happen when it's meant to happen. And trusting the divine process is huge.
yeah,
Mm.
Yes.
yeah. It seems like trusting the divine process and having that patience and that trust goes against quite a lot of our society messages that we have, even if they're unspoken.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And I really like what you said about give yourself permission.
Hmm.
That seems like that would be a challenging, is that something that you see with your clients that's it's challenging for them to give themselves permission?
Yes. Unconditional love for yourself,
Mm,
right? We beat ourselves up. I should have done this. I should have done that. I shouldn't have married so and so. I shouldn't have done that. It's like, you know what? It all happened for a reason,
yeah.
right? And going back to my high school reunion, like so many people are divorced, and it's like, but you bless the process and you move on. You can't say, I wish that never happened. Then you wouldn't have had your children, right? It's like
Mhm.
we learn and live and grow, and we continue to love ourselves, all the different versions of ourselves
Mhm.
that brought us here. So that's another thing I do is in my sessions, I connect with all the versions of ourselves that brought us here. Our 5-year-old, 10, 15, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, and all the experiences, some good, some bad, some you may be ashamed of, some you didn't like, but you love those versions of yourselves selves regardless,
Mm.
and then move on, release it and move on, not hold on to grudges or I wish I'd done things differently. We can't do that to ourselves. Yeah,
Well, that just pushes us back into the resistance, right?
Mhm.
And
absolutely.
that really resonates about our nervous system as well. When we try to force the healing, the body actually contracts.
Yes,
It
yes.
braces and it feels unsafe. And so what in your experience helps the body soften enough to receive the healing? You've kind of spoken to it some, but
Massage. Lomi Lomi.
oh
Physically, with Lomi Lomi, we actually do an Oli or a chant or a prayer
yeah.
that calls in the ancestors, angels, and spirit guides to form a circle around us. So
Mm.
we set that intention in the very beginning of the space for healing.
Beautiful.
And then boom, the body like relaxes. And then once with the hands on it. It's a whole experience with Lomi Lomi versus just massaging. Energetically, um, through breath work and meditation. And some people don't like to be touched, right? Even the other day, I had a healing on the beach, but she had a bad experience with massage. So,
Mm.
everything was all energy, right? Some people are like that. They didn't have good experiences with touch, right? So, I use my tuning forks energetically, my hands, without touch, but my voice, the
Mm,
voice, and I'll bring in toning of I connect to the stars, the constellations, the star mothers, and my ancestors, and the dolphins and the whales, and so just
oh,
using
beautiful.
those frequencies for energetically to help the body relax.
That's
Mhm.
beautiful. I love the imagery that you just painted there. It's just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
So I just want to be tender with this next piece, but you shared how that when your mother passed away 3 years ago, that it really completely changed your life. And you also described that without the matriarch of the family, you were then kind of forced to turn towards yourself, your own divinity, and your own empowerment. So would you be willing to share what that season opened in you?
How the season opened me, how it
Or
opened me,
no, what it opened.
what it
What that season
opened,
opened, yeah.
strength and resilience. I didn't think, the first thing
Mm,
you know, my mom passed, it's like we were close. My parents got divorced when I was 3 years old. My sister was 13. They split us apart. So
mm,
it was just me and
Oh,
my mom
wow.
my whole life. And I never got married, never had kids. So we've always been close. She followed me to northern Michigan. I followed her to Nevada, and then she followed me back home. So we always had we were like sisters. Everybody said, "You guys look like sisters." I'm like, "She's my mother." So we always been close. But I knew,
mm,
like when she had passed, I'm like, "How am I gonna do this without you? I can't do this without you." That's the first thing we feel, whether it be a
mhm,
spouse, no matter how old you are. When you lose a parent, it's like, what? I mean, it's going to happen, but you just don't prepare. And then, I spoke to friends that you can and you will, like so
Mm.
matter of factly, you're going to do it without her and we will do it without her. Don't even question it. And at first I would get mad, like, how do you know? How do you know? Because you don't feel strong. We never
mhm,
feel as strong as we are until
mm,
you look back, right? Until you move forward and look back. I'm like, oh my goodness.
mm,
I'm like, I am my mother. And I had a friend tell me, no, you're stronger. And I was like,
Mm.
ah,
mm. Oh,
because
wow.
she was such a powerhouse. And
Mm,
we were strength and resilience. I just continue because I can hear her in my ear tell me, keep going. You can do this. And yeah, we don't realize how strong we are. We are afraid of our own selves, our own strength until we see it. We're like, wow. Yeah.
yeah. So what do you now understand about resilience that you may not have understood before?
That even when the heart is broken,
Mm,
you can pick up the pieces again. Doesn't mean the
Mm.
pain will go away, but we learned how to manage it and love. We love our broken hearts. We love the broken pieces. We love the broken parts of us. And we keep moving even if they're baby steps. Even if
mm,
some days we don't feel like we're moving forward, we are.
mm,
And even if you need to take time out, taking time for you is moving forward. Yeah.
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 Stopping to rest and take time for you is moving forward.
Yeah.
So we just have to be easier on ourselves, kinder on ourselves, and the next day just keep going and just keep
Mm.
going, keep going.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. There's something so profound about the way grief can just strip away what we thought we were relying on and invite us to a deeper relationship with spirit, with ourselves, and with life. So it sure seems, yeah, with what you shared with us, and thank you, that it really shaped the work that you do now with others. And is there something that you would want others who may be grieving now to know?
mm,
That separation is an illusion, death is an illusion. They're still
Mm.
with us. It's their human body that dies, but their spirit never dies. The spirit is eternal. We are eternal souls living in this temporary human body, in this human experience. They're still there, just in their light bodies now. And we will join them soon, someday. Soon, not tomorrow soon, but you know how short life is. And ride the waves, love yourself, and nurture yourself. And this
Mm.
is where we show ourselves how much we love ourselves, right? We don't realize how much love we have because grief is love with nowhere to go, right? The tears are love with nowhere to go. And that's a perfect time to turn to really get to know yourself and
Wow.
just to, yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful to think of grief is the tears of grief is love with nowhere to go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah, and I'd love to get you to share a little bit more around the massage technique that you use, because it's really specialized, and you've spoken to it a little bit, but I'd like you to be able to maybe unpack it a little bit more. You do retreats and things like this, so maybe speak to the different kinds of experiences people could get to participate in and the benefits those would give them.
Absolutely. So the retreats that I do, well, of course, I went to a retreat to get my Lomi Lomi certification for 11 days in Maui. And we visit sacred sites. And again, the stones, right?
Mm,
We even have a chant specifically where we call out to the stones and we gather our sacred stones from the ocean, you know, near the ocean that call out to us. Of course, we bring them back when we're done, right? Whenever
mm,
I'm done doing massage in 10 years or whatever I decide. And but she teaches people to do this in different areas. So with my retreats, we'll go to sacred sites, we'll connect to stones, we'll connect to the heritage, the ancestors, the stories of the land, connecting with the earth and your ancestors, whether it's here in Hawaii, whether it's wherever. Lemuria, Hawaii was Lemuria in the past, so many people have
mm,
Lemurian remembrance, you know, Lemurian crystals. Um,
mm,
the island of Kauai is the oldest island, so many people are drawn there. Many people are drawn here to the youngest island, to the big island. So it's tuning into the heart, what the heart and soul craves for: connection, deep remembrance, bringing out your skills of your ancestors, of your lineage that have been hidden, pushed down. A lot of the witch rooms, right, where women weren't allowed to practice magic or medicine, or their voice was suppressed. They were told to be quiet, you know, go take care of the family. You can't be powerful, you know. So we're healing all of that stuff. And so a lot of that stuff, womb healing,
mm,
you know, whether people have birthed many children, whether they've had painful menstruation, whether they've had miscarriages, you know, the womb healing of our lineages. So we do that even with Lomi Lomi. I'll ask the woman, do you want Lomi Opu, which is, you know, rubbing the belly with the hot stone. And that helps with circulation, digestion, womb healing. And that's the power source, really, of our soul.
mm,
Creativity, passion, imagination, unlocking all that stuff we hid in our childhood, right? When we were allowed to have
mm,
fun or climb trees, or if we got hurt, or um, my mom almost drowned, so she never went into the ocean. I never saw her go into the ocean. You know, all those traumatic experiences that are held deep behind the belly button, you know? So
mm,
I do that, a lot of that work physically and
mm,
energetically as well with Lomi Lomi. And so with Lomi Lomi, it's focusing on one side of the body at a time. Like I said, feminine is the left, masculine is the right. And moving the energy in out, especially if it's coming, you know, from the ear or headaches, you know, headaches down to the throat, to the heart, behind the shoulder blade. And then it's moving it out of the body through the feet. Right. So I do
mm,
that on both
mhm,
sides. And it's just a really a beautiful experience versus just regular massage. So that's what I specialize in, and also with energy work without touch as well. So yeah,
It sounds like it's really has a lot of depth to it, a lot of richness.
yes, yes,
Mm. Yeah, and it sounds like too that touch when it's offered with true presence can be deeply regulating. Um, but it sounds like you're also touching the spirit as well. It's not just the
Mm.
physical body.
Absolutely, especially with breath. And I can tell when someone's still holding back, when
Mm,
someone's still holding, I have to verbally tell them to take deep breaths, and
Mhm.
like sometimes several times, because they'll only
mm,
shallow breath. I can tell when
Mhm.
someone's shallow breathing and someone's really letting go, and they'll have that release,
yeah,
that cry, which we all do, right? When we ball it up, and if you need to let it go, or you start coughing or sneezing, it's all energy that we store, on our
yeah,
lower back as women, in our hips, our knees, and so it's just, and I'm not saying it's going to be all gone after I work on you, but it's the layers. There's many layers that are releasing, and when you get to know your body and realize what you're holding on to, and then you're like, oh, why am I holding on to that? Then it's all part of that process of
yeah.
self-healing.
Right.
Yes.
And with diving into, your special talents that you have here, you're also certified in sound therapy and vibrational healing and using crystal bowls and hand drums and tuning forks. So I'd love to hear how sound, we heard about the Lomi Lomi, and now how sound supports the body and spirit in healing. And what do you notice happens when people receive sound as medicine?
So sound healing, I got certified in Sedona, and my dad has a timeshare in Sedona, so I used to go often, not as often now. I love Sedona, and that was a perfect place to do sound healing. The seven bowls that I have are, of course, the root chakra, red, orange for the sacral, and I have seven bowls for all seven chakras. And of course, I start with the root bowl. So either my sound bath groups, or sometimes I'll do it personally with your Lomi Lomi session at the end, if you want a 2 hour session. And it depends what you bought. The root will immediately ground you to the ground, especially when I use my voice. Sometimes I'll do the root bowl, and I'll be using my voice too. And it'll sink you in, versus being up here and thinking about your to-do list. Boom, you're instantly in your body. And with the root bowl, and then the sacral, and it's just working your way up your spine and
Mm.
releasing all that stuff that hangs up onto the spine, and releasing. So with each chakra, there's a different feeling. So sacral, so at the base of the spine, is orange, and then solar plexus is yellow. So like the golden sun, the warmth of the sun. When I play the yellow bowl, you'll feel that, like your belly will start to get hot and on fire. And then the green for the heart chakra. I always play the heart chakra because people always are holding on to stuff, especially with relationships and grief
Mm.
and loss, right? That's where we store all that. And so that drops that, and helps to wash that out of like the arms and fingers. And then the throat chakra, the blue, it's just like a turquoise blue. And I bring in the waterfall, imagining a beautiful waterfall behind your throat, clearing all that stuff, words that haven't been expressed, holding in your story, holding in your feelings, holding in your thoughts, your stories. People suppress their voice. They think their voice doesn't sound good, or
Mm,
everyone has a beautiful voice, no matter what, no matter if it's powerful and loud or it's soft. Maybe when they laugh, maybe they don't laugh as hard as they could or should. And so that helps to clear with the throat. And then the third eye is like an indigo blue, and it helps to open up like your dreams,
Mm.
messages, when you're connecting with people on the other side, or when you telepathically think about your friend and they end up calling you, or you see all
mm,
the angel numbers 1111, 222, 333, just opening up your senses and tuning into what's going on right now with everything. We're so sensitive right now.
mm,
So yeah, the bowls help to align all of this. And then of course the purple crown chakra, the violet flame, and just
Mm.
surrounding ourselves in a purple orb at that time. And we're just In a state of bliss.
Nice.
That
That
sounds
sounds
beautiful.
so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
also work with the Akashic Records in
Thank
intuitive
you.
one-on-one sessions, both online and in person.
Yeah.
So, for listeners who may not know what that means, how would you describe the Akashic Records in just simple, grounded language?
A lot of people still don't know the Akashic records, so I don't mind explaining. Even when I do body, mind, and spirit expos, people are still like, what are the Akashic records? So
Mm.
we are all in tune with the Akashic records. It is the database of what our soul has been through. Some people say it's a library. Some people say it's an ethereal building with files and books, however you want to envision it, of what our souls have been through in this lifetime and beyond. The joys, the sorrows, the lessons, things we forgot about, things we're like put behind our head, the trauma, the joy. So all of it. And what I do is we're all tapped in, right? When we
Mm.
dream about other parallel lives happening. Maybe you dream that you're on a horse going into battle. Maybe you're dreaming that you're a dancer on stage by yourself doing a solo, and you're in this life. You're like, wait, I'm not a dancer. You know, little things like that. Remembrance of what the soul knows. The soul knows everything. The soul knows the answers because the soul already agreed to all of this before we were born, right? So it's just remembering. So it's tuning into that. Again, I drop into meditation and I call upon the spirit guides. Sometimes it's specific, sometimes it's general, depending on the person. But and it's just I'm not telling you what to do. It's more like bringing clarity, more of a remembrance of you, of your soul's essence, and
Mm.
unlocking the codes within your heart and just opening yourself up to your own intuition.
Mm, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that does sound so beautiful. And because many people are curious spiritually, but they also want to feel safe and grounded. So
Yes.
it really sounds like, you're you're clearing things away. You're inviting people to become more centered and grounded and
Yes.
returning to themselves. I'm imagining that provides a lot of safety with the different tools that you have so that people can integrate their intuition
Yes.
or their spiritual information. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we create that safe space with that bubble, with that orb, calling upon the highest vibrational frequencies, setting the intention, and people when after their session, they're like, it feels so much lighter. I have the testimonials on my webpage, and they're just like, wow, because like, what was I afraid of? You know, we're afraid of what we tap into. We're afraid of our own selves, you know, the power, the knowledge. People think, oh, I don't want to remember trauma or war or death and this and that. It's not about that. It's remembering what lights you up, what brings you joy, and then living in joy, spreading it to your community through your work, through whatever you want to do, whatever you choose to do.
Yeah.
That's what I
Oh,
love
I love
about it.
that. I love that you access your own joy and then spread that in the world. That sounds beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Wow. One of the things you'd brought up, you'd said an angle could be returning to the I am consciousness of light.
Yes.
And that feels like a beautiful place that we could go now. So, what is the I am consciousness of light for you?
I am consciousness of light is remembering the eternal soul. Remembering who we are as an eternal soul living in this body. A lot of times we feel like the victim, especially
Mhm.
after death. Um, why did this happen to me? How could this happen to me? I can't believe this has happened to me. And to change that, it's happening for me. It's a lesson. It's not the rest of your life, right? When we feel stuck, you know, we feel like we're under a pile of bills, or you know, when we don't like our job and we want another job, you know, and it's just all human stuff, right? It's
Mm.
lessons that our human needs to learn to evolve, to ascend, to expand, and returning to that place of light to bring ourselves out. So we're looking at the whole picture versus being in our bodies and you know, wanting to curl up under a rock. It's
Mm,
expansion, ascension through the work that I do through meditation, through light language, through sound healing, and through
mm,
one-on-one online sessions.
Yeah.
yeah.
And when we, when I hear you speak of light, it makes me think of that it's important that we're not bypassing the pain or the grief, just do that the spiritual bypassing. And I don't think you're saying that at all. And so what you're talking about is really describing, it sounds like how you hold the light and the human experience together. Would that be?
Holding the light while you're in the darkness. Absolutely.
Mm,
Um, and that's what I do too, is like 0 points, like quantum 0 point, that place we are in, that dark place we're in right before we are born, and that
mhm,
dark place to go back after we
Mm,
transition. It's the point of creation. So it's not necessarily a bad place, right? When the earth was created, when the universe was created, we started from a black 0 point of stillness. And there's nothing wrong with, people are afraid of that. People don't like being in the dark.
yeah.
Even as children, right? But we are the light. We bring the light. Each and every one of us brings our own light into the darkness. How
Mm,
bright do you want to shine? Right?
mm,
And some people are afraid of their own light. They're afraid, and because I'm talking from experience, the responsibility that comes with it.
mm,
Because like a moth to a flame, right? You go out in the world and you shine so bright, you're gonna attract that which your soul is supposed to attract, right? Um, through lessons, through journeys, through work, and through healing.
mm,
And some people feel overwhelmed with
mm,
that, knowing that they have so many people
mhm,
to help activate, to help them activate their own light. But when you see it comes from a place of love, coming from a place of love versus fear is huge. That's what really flips the script. Yeah,
yeah.
it's,
mm.
yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah.
this is a great place to transition and hear about your retreats and workshops on the
Yes.
island of Hawaii.
Yes. So I am doing something for summer solstice. I just had a retreat for Mother's Day here on the Big Island and connected to the Divine Mother. Those of us who lost our mothers or have issues with mothers, or, every year we're going to do a Mother's Day retreat. So connecting and healing the Divine Mother within, making peace with the Divine Mother within, with our own mothers, spouses' mothers, with your children, whether you lost siblings, we all come together and just help each other. And it's from a place of love.
Mm,
And I don't have any dates coming up right now. I know I want to come back to Sedona and Mount Shasta. But normally my retreats are going to be here, either on the Big Island or Oahu. But I do want to come out to California and do something this year. I don't have any dates set yet, but working on it. Working on
mm.
it. Women empowerment, yes.
That sounds gorgeous. Yeah. You did say that by the end of the conversation, you hope the listeners feel lighter while being surrounded by the frequency of love and light. So, for the person that's listening while they're driving or walking or maybe doing dishes, what would you love for them to receive right now?
What they would like to receive right now. Okay. So breathing in and tuning into the heart space. And even if you put one hand or just visualizing the beautiful golden light around your aura, and then tuning into the heart frequency, the color of jade green or emerald green in your heart, around your heart. And as you inhale in through your nose and exhale through your heart. And then as you exhale through your heart, this beautiful green water, emerald water coming out of your heart and then oozing down your body and around you in this beautiful puddle of green, emerald green and golden light around you, surrounding you, and like sitting in your essence, bathing in your own divinity, and just in this beautiful vortex of light going in this circle counterclockwise around you, and just bathing in your own divinity. And as you take another deep breath, inhale and you exhale, what color is your breath? What color is the air that you exhale, the oxygen that you exhale from your body, from your heart? Is it gold? Is it green? Is it white? Is it silver? And just bathe yourself in your own essence.
That's
Mm.
so beautiful.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for that offering that you
Thank you.
just
Yeah.
You're
gave
welcome.
to us.
Is there
And
anything that, oh,
go ahead, Gloria.
is there anything that we haven't asked that your heart would love to share before we complete?
Keeping the heart open after breakups, after grief and loss, any kind of trauma, we immediately contract the heart and close it. But we can't live if we keep it closed, right? So opening the heart is a process, right? And opening the heart and keeping the heart open to receive. It's when our hearts are open and when we practice gratitude and we know it is our divine birthright to be blessed, then we will receive. And we allow ourselves, giving ourselves permission to receive that love, to receive that abundance, and just know that you deserve it and you're worth it.
That's beautiful. So for our listeners that are really just wanting to be able to follow up with you, how can they reach you? How can they find you in the universe?
Okay, so they can find me on Instagram at my handle at Moilehua, Moelehua, or they can find me on my website at moilehua.com.
Okay,
Yes,
we'll make sure we
Okay,
put
great.
those links in the show notes. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
we will do that for sure. So
yes,
Tiara, thank you so much for being with us today. This conversation has been such a gentle and but powerful reminder that healing does not have to be forced, that love can be received one breath at a time,
Mm,
and that nature is always inviting us back into relationship with ourselves, spirit, and the living world.
yes. It's been an honor. Thank you so much for
yeah,
having me on here. Thank you.
absolutely. And I'm taking away the reminder that our bodies are already carrying light and that sacred presence begins when we
Mm,
slow down enough to listen, to receive, and to remember who we truly are.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Healing You Method podcast. We invite you to take one small moment this week to step outside, breathe in the earth, place a hand on your heart, and say, I am unconditional love. I am safe and ready to receive.
Yeah. And our next episode is called When Dreams Become Medicine: Soul Messages, Symbolism, and Sovereign Choice. And we'll be meeting with Tim Fraser. We'll be exploring how dreams can become sacred messengers, how symbolism speaks through the soul, and how we can meet the dream world with curiosity, empowerment, and choice.
Until next time, may you move gently, listen deeply, and remember that healing is not something that you have to force.
All healing is relational, including the relationship that you are building with your own inner light.